Right, okay then. So, hello everybody, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel and the Patreon. It's me, Mikey, and I'm back today for a brand new reaction. And today I'm going to be reacting to something different. It's not one of my regularly scheduled TV shows. I'm going to be reacting to how the universe is way bigger than you think. Now, this is a really popular video. I can see here that it's had 32 million views in 8 years. Wow. And this was sent to me not too long ago by my best mate and channel manager, Luke, who is also here on YouTube. He's also a reactor, the Auctionman Reacts. He's the one that got me into making reaction content. Go and check out his channel. He chooses all my content for me. 90% of it is stuff he's already reacted to himself, so go and have a look. There's a link for his channel in the description. Go and check him out. Go and subscribe. Go and look. I think he's reacted to this as well, so you'll probably find this over there. Now, he sent me this not too long ago when we were having a bit of a discussion about what we think is out there. And he said, right, you need to watch this. And I've been saving it for a day like today where I've not got a tremendous amount of time to film because it's only a 10-minute video. So, yeah, I'm going to be doing this today. It was actually inspired because he sent me something else earlier, but it was something related to something that I haven't seen yet. So I need to see something before I can react to the thing he asked me for earlier. But it reminded me of this, and that's why I'm going to be doing this today. I'm very interested in this kind of thing. I love the idea of, you know, space and aliens, and I love all that kind of thing. So I'm going to be watching this today. I'm not entirely up on the technical side of it, so if there's anything a bit technical, I probably will, you know, just ask anybody to explain. But I'm looking forward to it. I'm apparently going to have my mind absolutely blown away by it, so let's look forward to that. Yeah, I've been waiting a little while to do this, but today is the day. We're going to be watching it. So if you like this video, well then leave a like on it. Yeah, leave me a like, leave me a comment, and subscribe to the channel if you're new, because there's lots of stuff like this out there. I don't know what else Luke has got up his sleeve for me in terms of stuff like this, so stick around. Something else might pop up. And also, don't forget to check out my Patreon as well. There is a link for it in the description. And if you act now, there is a 75% discount off membership for new members in all tiers. There's a code on my community tab. Go and have a look at that. That's valid until the 18th of December 2025. If you're watching after the 18th of December, then it won't apply. But if you're watching before, go ahead and check it out. Stuff like this goes on there at early access, but probably only by a few hours, this one. I might premiere this on YouTube later on today. But yeah. Feel free to stick around, guys, in any way you choose. There's a link for Luke's Patreon as well. He's got a tier at $1 a month, same as me. Well, I'm the same as him because he did his first. But yeah, go and give us all the support you can on the Patreon. Please support our channels, and let's see what... Oh, have I done these? Yeah. Let's see what I think of how the universe is way bigger than you think. Like and subscribe. Check out Luke's channel. And Luke, if you're watching, finally doing this. Let's watch and see what I think.
This is Earth. You live here on this planet somewhere, and everything that you've ever known is located right here. But just how small exactly is Earth when compared to the scale of the entire universe? Let's start by zooming out to where we can see our nearest cosmic neighbor, the Moon. You may think that the Moon is very close to Earth since it dominates our night skies, but in reality the Moon isn't this close to our planet, it's actually about this far away. 384,400 kilometers away from you right now on
Sorry, I did know that bit. I did know that the moon is a lot further away than you would think. I did know that bit, but yeah.
average. You could fit 30 entire Earths in between this distance, and if you somehow were able to drive a car at a constant 100 kilometers per hour speed, it would take you about 160 days to drive the entire distance. Despite this incredible distance, however, 12 humans have actually set foot here, representing the furthest away that any individual human has ever been away from the Earth, and one of humanity's greatest achievements. This is what the Earth would look like from there if you were standing there with them, and if you wanted to communicate with somebody back at home, it would take a message about 2.5 seconds to travel between you and them, since that's how fast the speed of light can travel at. This is a photo that was taken on Mars, and that tiny dot that you see there is Earth as seen from the Martian surface. On average, Mars is an incredible 225 million kilometers away from Earth, but that distance can be as high as 401 million kilometers. That means that whenever humanity finally gets around to landing a human on the planet, that person will be 986 times further away from Earth than the astronauts who landed on the Moon were. In addition, the time delay for sending a message from Mars back to Earth isn't just 2.5 seconds, it's actually more like 20 minutes each direction, which would render instant communication in the event of an emergency impossible.
That is absolutely crazy, isn't it? That is so crazy. It's the closest one to us, and everything just... Well, closest planet, shall I say. Closest planet to us, and everything changes. One film I really, really want to see is the film Martian with... It's Matt Damon, isn't it, in Martian? I really want to see that film, but it's one of those where I've seen the poster and I've seen, you know, like stills from it, and I've looked and I thought, this feels like it could be quite, you know, like I might feel a bit traumatized watching it. I'm really worried about that. But yeah, I would really like to see that film. It looks interesting, it sounds interesting. And to think you could see the Earth just like a little dot from there. Wow. And 20 minutes for a message. Mind you, I grew up in the late 90s and early noughties. The early text messages took about that long. No, I'm kidding. I'm not making light of it. Yeah. Wow, that is insane.
We zoom out even further away, we can find the Voyager 1 space probe, which is the even further away we can find the Voyager 1 space probe, which is the furthest away man-made object from Earth. It is currently located 138 AUs from the Earth. AU meaning astronomical unit, which is the distance between the Earth and the Sun, which means that Voyager 1 is 138 times further away from us than the Sun is. At some point on its long voyage, Voyager 1 turned its camera around and took this photograph.
How did they get it there, though? I mean, I don't know if this is going to explain it. How did they get that there? You know, I mean, I've got a lot of theories about space travel. You know, I often wonder if maybe there are things we can do that they're just... You know, I'm trying to say this without getting myself arrested. No. You know, I often wonder if there are things they can do, but they're not going to tell us about it yet. You know, because, I mean, in the event of anything happening to where we live... You know, there's got to be a contingency plan, surely. So, I don't know. It's really baffling. It's one of those things where I can sit and think about it, and I have done for a long, long time. And I get to the point where I'm like that. Yeah, wow, we could go all the way there. I go really, really like jelly-brained, and it's crazy. Wow, daunting.
It may not look like much at first, but in my opinion, this is the greatest single photograph ever taken in all of human history. This tiny, pale blue dot is Earth, and I don't think that anybody has ever said something as amazing about this as Carl Sagan when he said, "If you look at it, you see a dot. That's here. That's home. That's us. On it, everyone you ever heard of, every human being who ever lived out their lives. The aggregate of all our joys and sufferings. Thousands of confident religions, ideologies, and economic doctrines. Every hunter and every forager, every hero and coward, every creator and destroyer of civilizations, every king and every peasant, every young couple in love, every hopeful child, every mother and every father, every inventor and explorer, every teacher of morals, every corrupt politician, every superstar, every supreme leader, every saint and sinner in the history of our species lived there, on a mote of dust suspended in a sunbeam."
That literally did look like a speck of dust, doesn't it? You're just sitting there and you just see a little dust thing, And my dad used to say to us, how do we know that we're not like fleas on a dog or something? You know, how do we know that we're not inside just a little grain of dust in somebody else's house? My dad actually used to say that. And it puts me in mind of, you know, the Christmas film with Jim Carrey, The Grinch, in the beginning, where it turns out that it all takes place inside a single snowflake. It really makes you think. And honestly, it's... We're just so small, and I mean, we're mighty, you know, we are mighty people, but we're very, very small. And I'm going to get into this in the outro, but we cannot be the only piece of life. We cannot. It's not possible.
Voyager 1 is currently traveling at 17 kilometers every single second, but even at that speed, it won't break out of the reach of our solar system for another 30,000 years. Once we go beyond the solar system, we arrive in our interstellar neighborhood. Here we shift...
So I won't bother putting that in the calendar then. So I'm just taking a look at this star. This is a star map, isn't it? Wow. And all this stuff we know about is crazy. Like, how can they see that far? You know, I know telescopes are really powerful and stuff like that, but even so, it just makes you wonder how... Is any of it guesswork? You know, because, I mean, we can only reach so far, can't we? We can only see so far. Surely, I think I don't know if there is much conjecture in with all this. You know, when people talk about dinosaurs, it's a lot of it is guesswork. It's got to be guesswork. They can't tell everything. And I often wonder if it's the same with this. You know, how much of this is like, I don't know. It really baffles me that someone somewhere has been able to see. I mean, that's the sun. Someone's been able to see like this far. Like how? It's insane.
To the light year unit of measurement, which is the distance that light travels in a full Earth year, or about 9.461 trillion kilometers. The star Proxima Centauri here is the closest other star to us other than our Sun, but it's still 4.24 light years away from us. To put that into perspective, if it was heading in the right direction, it would still take Voyager 1 over 70,000 years to reach it. In other words, if you drove your car at 100 kilometers an hour like in our previous example to the moon, it would take over 6 times longer than the entire age of the universe is just to finally get there, and it wouldn't even exist still when you arrived. When we zoom out even further, we can see the entire Milky Way galaxy, inside of which Earth is located right here. This yellow dot is the furthest extent of humanity's radio broadcasts throughout history, which means that any possible aliens who live outside of this range are totally unaware of humanity's presence. It's complete silence outside of this yellow dot as far as we are currently aware, but the entire galaxy spans over 100,000 light years from end to end. There are over 100 billion stars and over 100 billion planets inside of our galaxy. But you have never seen the full glory of the galaxy at night, because 99% of the stars that you can see with the naked eye are limited to this small, tiny region right here. But even this massive galaxy is nothing compared to the rest of what's out there. Zooming out even further and we arrive at the local group of galaxies, a collection of 54 different galaxies that is about 10 million light years across. But zooming out even further and we can see the Virgo supercluster, of which the local group here is just a tiny segment of. There are at least 100 other groups of galaxies just like our own local group inside of here, and the
This is overwhelming. It really is. It's blowing my mind, but again, my question is, how do they know this? You know, I mean, they just said our signals can only reach so far. How do they know this then? This is the bit that baffles me. There's probably a very simple solution to this, and I'm probably just a bit dense, you know, but it just makes me wonder, how do they know? I mean, how have they mapped this out? How do they know this? If our signals will only reach so far. And that's another thing as well there, when they said our signals only go to a certain point, any alien life are unaware of us. That's crazy to think there are probably other species very similar to us out there right now, contemplating just like we are about how we can't be the only ones. You know, 2 different sets of life forms, potentially. You know, we could be the same. There could be more people out there, you know, living on the same type of planet, the same distance from the sun, same light. You know, it's possible. You know, I mean, humans aren't necessarily just native to Earth. There could be a planet out there that's just more or less the same as ours. Other people living the same way we are, thinking the exact same thing. So unaware that there's more of us. Or, like I say, other species. I hope we get there. I really do. I hope that this one day does become possible. I love sci-fi shows like Doctor Who and The Orville. That's one I had just discovered this year. Watching stuff like that, seeing all these worlds and great things that are discovered, and it's just... oh, it's baffling, but brilliant.
Distance from one side to the other is a mind-numbing 110 million light years. But even the massive Virgo supercluster is nothing but a quiet and tiny lobe of the Great Laniakea supercluster, an enormous structure that is home to our galaxy as well as 100,000 other galaxies. The distance from one side to the other is 520 million light years, But from even there, we can zoom out all the way to the entire observable universe and see that even the titanic Laniakea supercluster is just a tiny and insignificant part of everything. This is the observable universe, and it contains everything that we know of. It is home to at least 2 trillion different and individual galaxies, which together contain more stars than there are grains of sand on the entire Earth. The distance from Earth to any side of the observable universe is 46.5 billion light years, which means that the entire width is 93 billion light years across. What's perhaps even more interesting, however, is what actually lies beyond the observable universe. Keep in mind that the observable universe is all that we can currently see, and it's entirely possible that the rest of the universe outside of it is vastly larger and more fantastic than we can possibly ever imagine. We simply don't know what else is.
I mean, you got to think there was a time where they didn't even know that much. You know, there was a time where not too long ago, to paraphrase Phoebe Buffet, you know, there was a time, not a ridiculous amount of time ago, where the cleverest and brightest people on the earth thought that this was all there is. And over the centuries, all these wonderful discoveries have been made, and all this much is now known. I don't know how they know it, but all of this is now known to be factual. But we are still very young. You know, we have only just learnt to walk, to quote the doctor, you know. But yeah, no, seriously, we have only just learned to walk in comparison to the grand spectrum of, you know, what there is. We are still very, very new. And I mean, we're in... it just makes you think, what else is there to discover? What else is there to find? What are we, people that are alive here today, what are we going to miss out on? I mean, we're very lucky to see all these wonderful things. Even in just this perspective, you know, we're very lucky to have knowledge or awareness of these kind of things. It makes me so envious as to what we could miss out on. You know? Will time travel ever be possible? I mean, I know technically they say time travel is possible if you travel faster than the speed of light. If you do that, then you can technically time travel, apparently. You know, I think even Einstein said that. So, well, no, I think Einstein definitely said that. I think that was him. But yeah, it's baffling. I would love to live in a time of time travel. I would. So many great things I'd love to go and see. And, but it just won't be possible in my lifetime. A lot isn't going to be possible in my lifetime. And that's quite a melancholy thought, you know? It's a bit sad. But I'd need to consider myself lucky that I'm part of this and what we have now and what we know now. So, you know? Plenty of others died... well, have come and gone and have died ignorant to a lot of this. I'm very lucky to have been able to witness this.
Out there, because the light from these incredibly distant places has not yet had enough time in the universe's history to reach us yet back on Earth. And the light from some places may never reach us at all. Because some parts of space very far away from Earth are expanding away from us faster than the speed of light, that means that the light from these places will never, in an infinite amount of time, reach Earth. Meaning that even if humanity is eternal and exists forever, there will still be an unknown number of places in the universe that we will never know about or ever see. So, it is very likely that as unbelievably enormous as it seems, the observable universe is just a tiny slice of what we can currently see of the entire universe. According to the theory of cosmic inflation that was proposed by Dr. Alan Guth, if it is assumed that cosmic inflation began at 10 to the negative 37th of a second after the Big Bang, and with the assumption that the size of the universe before inflation began was equal to its age times the speed of light, then this would seem to suggest that at the present day, the entire universe is 150 sextillion times larger than the observable universe. That number for reference looks like this, with this many zeros. Let this number sink in for just a moment. This would be similar to you thinking that the entire observable universe, everything that you could see, was the size of a light bulb, but then realizing that in reality the entire universe is larger than the former planet of Pluto. Imagine a light bulb in the center of Pluto, but we inside the light bulb were totally unaware that Pluto existed outside of it, and that's a similar situation to this. We are all so unbelievably small, but you shouldn't worry, because all that means is that there is so much left out there for us to discover together.
Yeah. Oh. Talking to the Orville.
Hi, I'm Seth MacFarlane, and this is the Why.
Oh, fuck, I better not.
Somewhere, and every...
I really hope to God that has no bearing on the ending of this video. But yeah. Talking of which, talking of the Orville, there he is, the guy that created it. Yeah, wow, that was intense. That was really, really intense. There was some stunning, shocking facts there. Stuff that, you know, I've heard a lot of things, you know, through various things that I've, you know, read or heard on TV shows. I know most of it is like science fiction, but you know, programs like The Big Bang Theory, for example, that's quite factual in stuff that they talk about with this kind of thing. So yeah, it's really, really stunning that this is the case, and that makes what made sense to me the most was one big question that I've had was when we got to about here, I'm going to make this full screen. The observable universe, you know, that's obviously the key word there being observable. This looks like there is a beginning and an end, you know, like it's just one, you know, like they said about a light bulb on Pluto. It's like, imagine Earth and a single grain of sand. Take a single grain of sand off Skeggy Beach or whatever beach you want, and that is like Earth. That single grain of sand is like Earth compared to the rest of the Earth, you know? And it's really, really, it's daunting because, again, this is just observable because of the way light travels. You know, there's bits that we're never going to see. We have got no bloody clue what is out there, but to other people, well, to us, this could look like there's a beginning and an end. You know, but similarly, there could be a beginning and an end. I don't know. This is what I mean. There's so much opportunity for debate with this kind of thing. There's so much room for thought. There's so much you can think about. And there's so many of your own ideas and conclusions. I mean, thinking about this and everything that we have and what we know of, just thinking about this alone is such an opportunity for your imagination to run wild. I know that a lot of it is factual, but there is still room to imagine, you know, because like they said, outside of this, we will probably never ever know what is there. So there is still room for imagination. You know, you can make safe assumptions based on facts we've already got, but you can just draw your own conclusions. I mean, this to me, if you look at this like whole cylinder thing that they've done here, this looks a bit like a snow globe. You know, it's like, just imagine a snow globe, but with bits of snow that are like grains of sand. It's like someone's just got that. They've shook it up and you're just watching all these little bits float about, and we're just one of them. We're actually within one of those bits. I mean, they say here, this is just part of the massive thing that we're already a part of. And it just keeps going and going. Just, wow, it has blown my mind, and it has been a real educational opportunity, this has. And I'm not going to go into the whole thing, guys. I feel like this could be a whole separate bloody video. But my theory on other life out there is that, yes, there is. There's got to be. You cannot... we are not. No sodding way are the billions of species that live on this one rock. No way are we the only forms of life. Not a chance. And I know this is a very factual video, and I'm kind of going a bit sci-fi here, but my theory about aliens and that is... anything that is... I know, obviously, there's a thing there that says, you know, anything beyond a certain point won't find us. But what if they have? You know, what if they have discovered us and over time, you know, maybe, you know, they decided to keep a safe distance. Maybe they've had trouble, you know, finding other life forms before us. Maybe. It's not impossible, is it? So, thinking about it, what if they know exactly what we are, but they've just been keeping a bit of an eye on us? You know, they've got a bit of cloaking, they can go invisible, they can mask their signals. If sci-fi writers can come up with all that tech, then a really advanced species will be able to as well, you know? I'm just saying, all I'm saying is, how do we know that they've not known about us and they just keep watching us? And they've looked at our back catalogue of sci-fi programs and alien films and things that we know or think we know, and they've looked and thought, no, we're not going there. No, their first instinct is to shoot us. We're not going there. We're not that stupid. You know, it just makes me think. I just think there are many, many possibilities that, you know, we could be guarded. You know, how do we know that we're not like a subgroup? You know, maybe some people lived on this planet before. Maybe they messed it up, or maybe something went wrong, so they reached out across the stars. You know, we've been here for billions of years. Well, sextillions of years. Who's to say that another group of people or another species didn't go away somewhere and try to repopulate their home. You know, they started off with the dinosaurs or whatever came before them, and when they couldn't hack it, they thought, you know what, we'll try again with people. But they made us very basic, cavemen. And then we've just evolved and adapted, and we've got to a point where they're thinking, no, we're not going back there. They've gone way beyond anything we've expected. They're catching us up, and what if they have just stretched out beyond? You know, I'm just saying, it's a possibility. And I could sit and think about this for such a long time, I really could. But I'm going, forgetting the sci-fi, forgetting fiction, looking at the facts of this, yes, this has absolutely blown my mind. But it still baffles me how they know all this. You know, if our signals can only reach so far, how do they know? You know, how much of this is guesswork? How much of it is fact? Someone let me know, because I'm really keen to know just how all of this is, you know, they can conceive it if our signals can only reach so far. But I'm not here to argue. I'm not here to, you know, pick fault or anything. It's just what watching something like this brings to mind for me. And it is amazing. It is astounding. And again, I'm really, really happy that I can be a part of the current generation that can enjoy all these marvelous things that have been brought to us, you know, through discovery and through study and all of that. But I also feel very sad and unlucky that I won't be here to see a lot of what is discovered in the future. You know, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm probably, our generation, all of us here today, we're probably the luckiest, because you never know one day when, if anything else is fact, you don't know, do you? I mean, all these films about alien invasion and domination and all that, I'm not saying that's what they do, you know, but I'm just saying, if that were to happen, I think we'd rather not be here, right? Yeah? So yeah, we're probably the lucky few, you know, but if we do ever get to a time of space travel, I mean, I've said, if there was such a thing as like a commercial flight, like around the moon and back again, I'd probably take it. I probably would. Obviously it cost me an arm and a leg, but yeah, it's probably not going to happen. I probably would never be able to afford it, but I would. If an opportunity was ever there, I would take it. How could you not? You know? Like they say, so very few people get these opportunities. It'd be great fun. But yeah, it's so amazing and so wonderful, and I'm going to be thinking about this for quite a while. And I'm really happy I sat and did this today, because again, I have been saving it for a day where I've not really had a great deal of time to film anything else. But yeah, this has given me a lot to think about. It's answered a couple of questions. It's put some figures in mind for, you know, distances and light speeds and all of that. And oh, it's just amazing. It really is. It's wonderful. And we really are tiny. I mean, that there is all about that cluster that we're in. How big is one person then? In this. Beyond microscopic, beyond grain of sand, beyond anything else. We're just so tiny, but it's us tiny people, teeny, tiny, pretty much insignificant compared to this people, that have found all this. Well, not found it, you know, it was already there, you know, it wasn't exactly hiding, but you know what I mean. We, as small as we are, have had the capabilities and the intelligence to reach out and discover all of this and learn all these things. And whether anything else out there has ever done it, I don't know. But all I can say on that front is that if we have got the comprehension of other life and space travel and finding out as much as we possibly can, then something out there surely is thinking the exact same thing. You never know, it could happen. All of this, we're not the only life, we're not. But yeah, it just really opens your eyes to just how small you are. You know, I mean, the next time I lift a heavy box, you know, and I complain, I'm like, oh, this is really heavy, you know, I'm going to think, you know what, no, it's really not, you know, compared to the grand scheme of things. Yeah, we just have to consider ourselves very lucky, you know, we are a great species and we are capable of great things, and who knows what the future is going to hold. But for now, this has blown my mind. It's been educational and I've enjoyed it. And I sincerely hope that every single one of you here has enjoyed the reaction. If you have, don't forget to leave me a like, leave me a comment, and subscribe to my channel if you're new, because more stuff like this could be coming. You never know. Yeah, if anyone's got any answers to any of my questions, leave them in the comments. Don't forget to check out Luke's channel as well. As I said at the start, he's my best mate, he's my channel manager, he's the reactor himself, the Auctionman Reacts, and he got me into making content. So go and check out his channel and go and see what you can find on there, because you'll no doubt find something to keep you entertained. He's absolutely hilarious, and I think he's reacted to this as well. So yeah, when this goes onto YouTube, actually, I might leave a link for his reaction to this if I can find it. I'll get him to send it me. But yeah, that was really great. I've really enjoyed it. My mind is blown. I'm going to go away and think about this now for the next 18 hours. So yeah, just thank you so much for watching, everybody. Have a good day / night, depending when you are watching, and I'll see you very soon for a new reaction. Take care, guys, and I'll see you next time. Ta-ra.